Hello and welcome. Earlier this month, a young Indian lawyer created and released on social media a spreadsheet where Indian women spoke up anonymously about unwanted advances from professors and older colleagues. It was a list of almost 60 academics from 28 Indian colleges who have allegedly sexually harassed their students. A list where the names of the complainants were kept anonymous. A list that does not state what the exact allegations against the accused were. This list of alleged sexual predators in Indian universities was circulated widely on the internet, creating a storm of debate. Is this unvetted, crowdsourced, public-shaming online vigilantism? Is it disrespect of due process, a setback to true accountability, or is it the last resort of unheard young women? On the show today, we have the Panjana Pal, author and journalist. We have Raghav Pandey, who is a research fellow at the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT Bombay. We have Priya Hingorani, advocate in the Supreme Court. Sanjay Rajora, a stand-up comic, a familiar face on We the People. Ashwini Deshpande, professor of economics at the Delhi School of Economics, and Ritu Menon, writer, publisher. And we have Raya Sarkar, who's joining us now from California, where she is a law student at the University of California. Raya, thank you so much. You are the one who compiled this crowdsourced list of academicians. But for our viewers who are absolutely new to this controversy, let's start at the beginning. Why did you compile this list?
The reason why I compiled this list was from a place of helplessness than empowerment. The due process has been failing students for a really long time because I thought that, now we have a culture where we can believe victims because of the Weinstein scandal and because of the Me Too movement. I thought that, okay, this is a time where I can, and especially because Dipesh Chakrabarty, the Christine Perez article on Dipesh Chakrabarty was taken down. Mm-hmm. That's when I got very angry, and I thought that why are victims being silenced?
All right. Okay. So yes, you're right. Due process has let down many victims or survivors, I should say. But you mentioned angry, and your detractors will say, is this anger correct? I mean, is this a good avenue for anger? Is this a trial by the internet without substantiated context or claims? They say it's hugely problematic. They'll ask what happened to the rights of the accused. How is this different from a Kap Panchayat, critics ask?
I have been compared to a Gau Rakshak and other things. The reason why I compiled this list is because I wanted to make my friends wary of their professors in their universities or any university that have been accused of allegedly sexually harassing people, and I used first-hand testimony to do that. And the reason why I did that is because I had lost hope on due process. I am a trained attorney, and I have seen the Farooqi case unveiled. I have seen the Jindal gang rape case unveiled. Those 3 guys in Jindal were my classmates, by the way. I attended 4 years of school with them until they were caught. And then Dipesh Chakrabarty's, his victims, his survivors' testimony was taken down by Huffington Post, allegedly. I saw that there has been a culture of delegitimization. And I thought that, the only way that can be countered is by making students aware. Since due process is not working for you, let me make you aware of the people.
All right, Raghav, Raya says she had lost, and many people have lost hope in due process, right? So this is not ideal, this is not justice, but is it understandable in a country where we live in, where the process of the law has numerous times let down survivors of sexual violence?
No, it definitely raises some concerns about the criminal judicial process, and it is not just with the specific set of crimes which Raya is referring, that the judicial process has failed. Judicial process has failed with other crimes also, and I definitely understand that why what was the motivation for her to get onto the internet and publish that list. But I have certain amount of reservations on this, that why can't we institutionalize this? An organization can take up this responsibility. So
we have organizations, we have institutions on campus, in universities.
That's right, but specifically they would publish lists on the internet, that kind of organization, and they go into the case, they go into the merits, and then publish the names of the accused persons. So specific organizations which can be independent or which can be government run also can be there. But I am a little worried about what Raya has done, and another list has also come up by I think one Mithali. This could descend into anarchy. Judicial process is there, it has failed, but you cannot do away with it.
Deepanjana, you are smiling when he says this could descend into anarchy. Why is that?
We can't ignore the fact that social media exists and that people will use social media to communicate their concerns, their ideas, and it is, just as it is Raya's or anybody else's right and freedom to be able to say, friends, this is something that I have, it is of concern to me, I share it with friends. To treat it like a fact-finding commission from the UN or the Supreme Court is bizarre to me. I think the fact that we've reacted as dramatically as we have on certain occasions just shows how serious this problem is and also how unacknowledged it is.
Okay, so you're saying this is a system that exists. Seniors look out for juniors in the workspace. We tell a junior reporter, listen, don't go with this camera person or an outstation shoot or whatever. This is a system that women use to protect one another, and it's a reflection of the time that we're living in, that everything is shared on social media. But we talked about legitimizing. Does it not worry you? Is it not frustrating in a sense that since then, no real complaint, it hasn't been followed up?
I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think that is the most frustrating, one of the most frustrating things to have come of this. Nothing. Arguably, maybe we were expecting too much to expect a Facebook post to generate change. But that in some senses, for instance, everyone here probably has a Facebook account, and there are a lot of fictions you put up there, a lot of truths you put up there, a lot of complaints you put up there, which do not get addressed. At a very basic level, this is just another one of them. That we are having a conversation about it is important.
But we're also saying it's not serious. If it's just one of those things, then how can it be serious yet at the same time?
The issue is serious. Seriousness is not decided by the medium, surely. Seriousness is decided by the content of the work that you're putting up or the message that you're putting up. This is an extremely serious issue. What it really needed was for an institutional response. It absolutely needed these allegations to be looked into, not accepted necessarily. If you don't want to believe the victim, that is up to you. But please investigate it. Don't dismiss the claim and just say, well, it's on Facebook, so it's really not important.
But Priya, you're a lawyer. How does one investigate if no one has filed a complaint?
Exactly. I was going to say that. You have to go as per law if you want justice at the end of it. The victim has to. As you know, every institution has to have a sexual harassment committee in place. There has to be an ICC in place. And as per the law, the complaint has to be given in writing to the authorities about alleging what happened and how it happened, and then only the committee can take it up. While I understand and I agree that this is very serious and the institution should in their own internal way try and see whether there is some truth to it or not, but unless and until a complaint by the victim, the Act also says that if there is a next friend who can bring this, if the person is not capable of bringing this complaint to the committee, the next friend can bring it in writing. See, everything has to be in writing. Anonymous complaints are not to be looked into.
But isn't that the problem in this case, right? Yes. For example, you're a lawyer, I'm sure you felt it. We've all been in school, colleges, where the professor stands a little too close, puts his hand on your back, where your bra strap is, where your hook is. We're all uncomfortable, but how do you bring it up against a professor who's grading your paper? Who will decide whether you're going to get a scholarship, whether your thesis is going to be cleared, whether you're going to get a recommendation letter?
It is an issue, but again, this is something, that's why when we talk of creating awareness, whether it is in the school, whether it is in the universities, awareness about what is right, what is a good touch, what is a bad touch, is there. It's been working on.
But that's not the problem here.
But the thing is, unless and until, see, the law has its own limitation. unless and until
Right, the law has its limitations. The deck of cards are stacked against this person who is less powerful, and that is in this case, in these cases, they're students, right?
But, no,
so
but they have to.
How
see, when you talk of
when
you talk of a just system, you do also talk of coming forward and making a complaint. You have to come forward. You can't sit at home and say that somebody else should fight my battle. It doesn't work that way under the law.
You have to come forward.
Yes.
Ashwini Deshpande was chairperson of CASH, right? The Committee Against Sexual Harassment at Delhi School of Economics for many years. We used to have these committees in the past, or at least all universities should have had them. This was until 2013 when we had the new Sexual Harassment at the Workplace Act come into place, and now we have ICCs, right? You've been part of this due process. So tell us, does it actually work?
The thing is that the experience is mixed, you know, and I've written about it. The point is that the committees existed at that time, and the cash structure was, by the way, better than the ICC, because now we have, for all of Delhi University, which is a humongously large university, there's just one single ICC. So that ICC may as well not be there, because it's so far removed from any student. The cash structure was better because there were decentralized committees, and they culminated in an apex committee, and I was one of the middle tier committee chairpersons. So in that sense, the committee was closer to the possible complainant. The other thing I want to point out is that even though the list is about professors who allegedly harassed their students, in CASH we actually received complaints not only about professors, but a lot of them about fellow students and about the administrative staff. So what I'm saying is that sexual harassment is a manifestation of a misogynist, patriarchal mindset that professors can imbibe, but as well as fellow students.
Of course.
So Raya has done whatever she's done, she had to do it.
A professor.
You know, so I agree that there's Facebook, and you know, all kinds of things are out there on the Facebook. Somebody makes a list of professors, I might have, I mean, my views about that are separate, but what I'm trying to tell you is that sexual harassment as a problem is all pervasive on campuses, and it's not confined to the professors.
Absolutely, but it's much harder to file a complaint and not be anonymous against a professor.
It's hard to find a complaint against students, because the girls who eventually managed to complain against students said that, you know, we meet these boys in the canteen everywhere all the time, and we are afraid to complain because if we do, then they with their fellow students can harass us actually on an everyday basis much more.
And the institution doesn't support them. So are you surprised at this list, or is it just an indictment of the failure of systems like ours, like you're saying ICC?
No, so the thing, what I'm saying is that the eventual resolution, if at all that's even possible, is a slow and tortuous process. It's extremely frustrating, but I'm saying that we have to take the slow road, because at the end of it, it's not a question of whether the list is right or wrong. The question is, do we want sexual harassment or not? The focus on the list, I think, has taken away attention from the basic underlying problem, which is sexual harassment. My interest is in seeing that sexual harassment is reduced. And the complaints of the experience of the CASH was mixed, because if the chairperson wanted to, she could bury the complaint under layers of bureaucracy. But at the same time, if the chairperson was proactive, and there were CASHes where the chairpersons were proactive, they actually did some fantastic work.
I like that you said the chairperson was a she. Are they always she's?
I think that was the rule for the CASH.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the rule for the CASH, that the chairpersons had to be she's. But we were hamstrung by a lot of problems. Most of all, no budget. So I was given a mandate saying sensitize. So I organized a film show. There's not a single rupee for me to even print a poster.
So it shows what our priorities are
exactly,
and how much
exactly. So
I'll go across to Raya and ask her about what you're saying, that this may have actually diluted the cause. But I want to go across to Manishi first. She's a final year student at BHU, because you talked about sexual harassment on the campus overall. In September, BHU students went on protest. They went out on the streets of their campus because they believed that the administration was not paying them attention when they were complaining or raising sexual harassment charges. And we all know what happened. The police then lathi charged the students, the protesting students, and 1,000 of them had FIRs filed against them. So in your case, it's not about harassment by professors, it's about students, but it's the system overall. What is the response you get, or students in BHU get, when you go to like grievance cells, etc. on campus?
Okay, first of all, I want to tell you that there are as such no grievance cells we can approach to in BHU. Okay. There's no GS cash, there's ICC, it doesn't work. So we do not have a grievance cell in BHU, and when we approach administration, I want to bring down to you to a few cases. Just case mein the recent protest took place. That case is at least a dozen of committees were made to investigate on this case, and a FAIR was also launched. But उस पे अभी कोई advancement नहीं हुआ है. They have accused no one, right? No accused has been still punished. Then before that incident has happened, एक case हुआ था where one of our professors was accused. The girls in the NSS has wrote to the Ministry of Health to take off the professor because he was asking for sexual favors for ताकि वो उनको कुछ एडवांसमेंट्स दें एनएसएस में. सो उसके लिए बहुत हाइप हुआ था और इंटरनेट पे वो चीज़ चली थी कि उनके खिलाफ इस तरह कंप्लेन हुई है. एंड द एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जो शट डाउन दैट बाय सेइंग कि वी हैव फॉर्म्ड अ कमिटी, विल इन्वेस्टिगेट. आज तक उस कमेटी का कोई रिपोर्ट नहीं आया है. इनफैक्ट हमारे सारे कंप्लेंट्स में इस तरह का होता है. एंड जो आपने प्रोटेस्ट देखा, इट वॉज ऑल बिकॉज कि कोई भी जो कंप्लेन होती थी लगातार, दैट वॉज नॉट बीइंग एड्रेस्ड. दैट वॉज नॉट. इनफैक्ट जब प्रोटेस्ट चल रहा था, द मेजर डिमांड वॉज नॉट द मेजर demand was ki we want administration to come to our place and have a dialogue with us. We just wanted the vice chancellor to come here and address, and he was not ready to. So you can see the approach of the administration that is taking place there. I want to bring down to you to a very recent, after the protest, a recent incident has happened. Lately in BHU, because IIT Varanasi is in the BHU campus itself, IIT BHU, and although it is autonomous, but क्योंकि campus same है, तो उनका एक program होता है काशी यात्रा, the annual festival, and काशी यात्रा में there's a DJ night happening. So इस बार क्या हुआ था, because every year that happens is कि जब जो women's college की लड़कियां, उनको invitation होता है DJ night में, and when they are returning back, तो जो बाकी लड़के होते हैं locals, they're on the university roads and everywhere, और वो harass करते हैं लड़कियों को. And इस बार क्या होता है कि CCTV cameras installed थे और अभी security का issue थोड़ा hype पे है, तो उनको लगा कि शायद वो नहीं कर पाएंगे. They sat down on धरना saying discrimination है क्योंकि stag entry allowed नहीं है DJ night में. वो उनका anonymous institution है फिर भी. And उन लोगों ने जाके particularly IIT में proctors को पीटा है, उसमें CCTV footages हैं, लड़कों को पीटा है IIT में. And our security, जिसका budget 16 crore है BHU में, just raised his hands off and said कि हम लोग इसको security provide नहीं कर सकते. The entire program was called off. And उन लड़कों के खिलाफ FIR हुई, उनके खिलाफ complaint की गई, but no action was taken. So that's how the organizations in our university has responded. Or like the recent incident जो ये सब हुआ, उसके बाद से we have approached the administration with कि हमारी curfew timings हटाई जाए. I mean, I had a lot of meetings with the administration, और मुझे अब तक समझ में नहीं आ रहा था कि to which authority do I go?
In order to protect you, you have to have a curfew.
Yeah.
So you have to stay safe. That is their responsibility. So you should stay indoors and be in a curfew.
No, but
look, now this is the reality on the ground, Raya, but would you like to come in here on what Ashwini said, that perhaps in the entire process, at the end, what have we achieved, or have we just diluted the cause over here? I'm sure you were expecting resistance, but we had several prominent Indian academics, we had feminists who have also raised issue about this, where they've said that this may have undone the work that had been done by feminists over the years. We have Nivedita Menon, Kavita Krishnan, Aisha Kidwai. They've all criticized your methods. They've stated that the list could actually delegitimize, they say, the long struggle against sexual harassment and make the task of feminists more difficult. What do you say in response?
In what ways has it undone feminist causes? And secondly, I would also like to know that in what ways has warning students against alleged perpetrators made students more hesitant to come towards ICCs? Is it because they are seeing that people who run ICCs are not willing to believe them? Or is it because they see that, you know, that ICCs are because of the various testimonies that have come to light over the days, that, oh, you know, if I go and complain, I will get a lot of extrajudicial, punishment from my different professors. I wonder if, you know, these thoughts would come to a student because of my list or because of different students' testimonies saying that, yes, this has happened to me.